Hey, family, welcome to Keep It Raw. My name is Ravel. Thank you for joining me. And if this is your first time, make sure you subscribe and like. If you've been around for a while, make sure you hit that notification button. Today, I want to deal with forgiveness. There is no relationship without forgiveness. Forgiveness is so important. Why? Because people mess up all the time. People do stupid stuff all the time. From the very beginning all the way to now, people do stupid stuff. And so, no matter how moralistic we look at things, no matter how much we have certain standards and expectations for ourselves, people going to constantly do stupid stuff. But we're going to have to serve forgiveness. And some of you thought, once you was done dealing with kids and having babies and so forth, and you didn't want to change any more diapers. And now you're finding that even in your 30s and 40s, you changing diapers, and they're not little babies. They're grown folks making a boo-boo and making a mess, and you have to clean it up or forgive them for doing it. God have forgiven men down through the years. He have forgiven you. And you say, well, you don't know what that person did to me, and I don't. And I sympathize with you. But at the end of the day, you don't know what all you did to God and other people that you don't know about. We all have done stuff that we need forgiveness for. Everybody. There's not one person exempt from that. And keep this in mind, because relationships, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns with relationships. That's just the way it works. There's no perfect relationship. And I know you may think, yeah, mama and papa, they had real decent, long relationship. You just don't know how many times she forgave that dude. You didn't know how many times he forgave her. That's what you're not hearing. And so, if so, you get a reality check on it. But anyway, forgiveness is essential for every relationship. Don't forget that. We need relationship with God. We have to be forgiven. We need relationship with other people. We got to be willing to forgive. That's just the way it works. So keep that in mind. And so when you're able to forgive, you're able to create a platform for responsibility, remorse, restoration, and renewal. If you don't forgive, things begin to linger. Like the Bible says, don't go to sleep on your wrath, because when you go to sleep angry, the next day it become worse. And some of you are with somebody, you've been with them for a long time, and you never been on the same original track you was on, of love and happiness and all that, because they did something 5 years ago. They did something 10 years ago, and you never seen them the same, because you're saying, well, they messed up and we still together, but whatever. And that have changed the trajectory of your whole relationship, because you won't forgive them. And maybe you have said, well, I forgive them, but I won't forget. And I heard that over the years, and I'm thinking that's the most bizarre something I heard, because the forgiveness is the willingness to forget. You have to will to forget first. If you're not willing to forget and willing to turn it over and let it go, then what's the purpose of forgiveness? You still have the same ill feelings and elements of it. And that's why some people relationships are destroyed, and it's on a numbness, it's a boredness, it's a dryness in the air. And you just hold on for the sake of holding on, but it's no real relationship. There's no real love. There's no real faith. There's no real happiness there. You just coexisting. You putting up with each other. You have to find in your heart to forgive. And you can't forgive if you don't have love. You have to have love, faith, and forgiveness work hand in hand when it comes to relationships. And so something I'm going to share with you that I've never shared publicly, but when I was 11 years of age, I was brutally stabbed. I got 2 stab wounds in my back now, and I was left for dead. And just by the mercy and grace of God, I came out of that in a miraculous way, and it became a staple and a marking point in my life that God brought it up later and reminded me of, that he spared me for a purpose. And so, of course, I needed forgiveness because I veered from that purpose. And so, but God has been good. He's been merciful to me, and I'm grateful for that. And so we all need forgiveness, but I was left for dead. And the doctor said they have never seen anybody got stabbed that close to their spinal cord without being crippled for life, or the blood that I lost. They was just astounded. But it was by the grace and mercy of God. And the person that stabbed me was a family member, my very brother. I was 11. He was 19 at the time. A regular day. Family issues went out of control, and we got into a shoving thing. I shoved him into the kitchen. He grabbed a knife, And just a little background, he had some mental health issues because he had been pistol whipped. And so he suffered brain damage. And so some things, when he didn't take his medicine, he didn't process things well. And so we always had a great relationship, but this particular day, things went left. And I didn't see the knife coming. What if he had stabbed me in my chest? I would have been dead. I would have been one of the 800 victims that year in Chicago, 11-year-old, male, black, homicide. But by the grace of God, I made it. And so that had marked my life, and I'm an advocate for forgiveness. And so at 11 years of age, I had to go before court and look at my brother who sought to kill me. And he wasn't in his right mind. And the judge asked me, he said, we can send him to jail for a long time, or we can send him to get help. What do you wish? We're going to take your consideration in making this judgment. He was charged with attempted murder. And I said, I want him to be helped. And they sent him to a mental hospital to get help. And when he came out, it's like it never happened, because God at 11 years of age let me know what it was like to have the spirit of forgiveness. It's not just human forgiveness. It's a divine gift from God to be able to forgive people. And so in yourself, you can't forgive, but God will help you as you yield over to him. And so I forgave him as though it never happened. And that's what forgiveness is about. You can't keep holding it. We went on and had a regular relationship as though that event never happened. I didn't push it away. I didn't push it out of my mind. I forgave. Some people say, well, you just maybe push it out of your mind and this trauma pushed down in your mind somewhere. And so when you forgive a person and you still holding on to the feelings and the issues of it, and you still have an ill will towards that person, you just haven't forgiven. And you may not have it in you, but if you reach out to God, he'll help you. And so he said again, if you don't forgive me and their trespasses, neither will God forgive you or yours. And so that destroys relationship. It destroys blessings. It destroys happiness and a lot of things. So if someone did something to you, you have to forgive them. You have to reach beyond yourself. And when God forgive us, keep in mind, he have a standards, he have plans, he have things in order. And when a person break those rules and to forgive them, that means he's taking that person more important than what his rules are. Keep that in mind. And your rules is not as important as God. But when he forgive a person, he decide to let you become more important than what those rules were that you broke. Now let that sink in. That's deep. He began, and that's why it's important to forgive, because whatever it is that person did to you, even Christ on the cross said, Father, forgive them. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't understand the seriousness of this. Some people, again, do things intentionally, some don't. But at the end of the day, turn them over to God, and God will deal with them. Simon Peter came to Christ one time. He said, Lord, how many times should I forgive my offender? 7 times? And the Lord said, no, 70 times 7. Not 7 times, 70 times 7. And he was telling you that's how the love of God works. That's how God forgiveness works. And so you say, this man done did so much. He's constantly doing stupid stuff. He's doing this, and I'm tired. You might be tired, but you have to yield to love. If love is there and compatibility is there, that's the right person. That don't mean they're not going to do anything wrong, but you have to forgive them for regardless of what it is they did. And so the same with you. You don't realize there's things you have done. You done broke people hard, done did different things, and maybe you are really a good person, and maybe they're really a good person. Good people mess up all the time. Good people mess up all the time. And so that's why we need forgiveness. But we don't have to be only the beneficiary of it, but we have to also be quick to give forgiveness. And so Jesus told him 70 times 70. And he gave a parable. He said there was a man that had a great debt, and he pleaded for mercy, that he would be forgiven, and that he will have mercy on him and give him a chance and so forth. But that same man went and got one of his people that was a debtor to him. He put his hand around his neck and said, you're going to get my money or else. That man went back and told him and said, hey, you wicked servant, did not I have pity on you? Why didn't you have pity and mercy on the person that owed you? So we all want to be forgiven, but we don't want to forgive those debtors. That's to us, those that have done us wrong. And you can take it so personal. Get outside of yourself. I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but you have to begin to understand it's destroying your life. It's going to change your attitude. It's going to put you on a road that you never thought to be on. And some of you bitter and you don't even realize you're bitter. If somebody don't tell you and help you, you bitter about some guy that played games with you 10 years ago. Somebody lied to you 10 years ago, and every guy you see is the same like him. There's some lady that was did things to you 10 years ago, and you think every lady is terrible. And so it poisons your brain, your outlook on things. And so anger causes you to shrink in character. You have to understand that. But forgiveness causes you to grow, expand, and become a greater version of yourself. So every relationship needs forgiveness. Don't forget that. But if you know in your heart that you have that in your spirit against them, that when their name come up, you get a little hot, your tone changes, you haven't forgiven them. And you need to seek God's help to help you forgive them. And so some people can't even co-parent because they got all these things in their spirit and in their heart. And they cannot forgive their ex. They can't forgive somebody that they found is misleading or told them this or did something to their car or cost them money, and they just can't forgive. And I'm asking you to forgive them because you're only hurting yourself when you don't. And that person that you love, you're not going to be able to love him the same way if you don't forgive them. If forgiveness is not there, unforgiveness is there, you're going to see a smoke screen when you look at them. There are things you're going to always use that as a measuring rod, that they're dirty. They did me dirty. They did me wrong. And what you're doing is robbing yourself. You're robbing the relationship because you're stopping restoration. You're stopping renewal. That restoring you cause everything else to be new. You follow me on that? The restoration of you cause everything else to be new. And so keep that in mind. The restoration of you cause everything else to be renewed.